Hello and welcome back to our next episode in our Golang crash course. My name is Chris Franklin. Today's lesson is going to be the shortest in the entire tutorial series, but it's also going to be the most important for you to understand. This is going to be foundational knowledge for the rest of the series and for your entire career doing Go programming. Now, do not worry if you don't completely understand what I'm talking about here. You will be able to pick some of this up as you move along, but what we're talking about today is the world of pointers. Now, if you come from a C or C++ background, you probably already have a pretty good grasp of what the difference is between a variable reference and a variable pointer. If you don't come from that world, hopefully you've at least heard the phrase before, and if you haven't, this is probably going to be the hardest lesson for you to understand. So make sure you go back, you watch this again, and you really understand what we're talking about here, because you're going to need this when we get to more advanced types like structs, and when we start talking about passing functions themselves around as arguments in further lessons, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate what a pointer is. I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call this I. And in this variable, I'm going to put the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I'm going to store 42 in here. And then I'm going to use this print line that I already have, and I am going to print out this value. We've seen this already in this tutorial series, so this should not be a surprise to you. What's going to happen here? If I do go run dot and I hit go, I'm going to get back out the number 42. Exactly what I expect. But now I'm going to do something that might be a little weird for you. I am going to create another variable. And inside of this variable, I am going to put ampersand I. Okay? What I am doing here is this ampersand is a special symbol that says I want to dereference I. What I have done here is I am storing a reference to the value 42. And what I'm telling it here is I want to dereference it, and I want to get the memory location pointer from inside that's associated with I, and I want to store it into P. So if I print this out, fmt.println, and I print out what I just got, it's going to look a little weird. This right here is a memory pointer. This is an address, a physical address on your memory card. This is a place in memory on your machine of where this value is actually stored. Now, why would you ever want this? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that in my mouth. What this is used for is sometimes we're working with very, very, very large objects. And you'll see that when we get to structs, that you can put a lot of stuff into a single type. You can put thousands and thousands and thousands of fields inside of a single structure. And that means that structure is going to be big. And if you're passing the entire structure around, if I pass in I into this println statement, I am passing the actual value 42. However much space this takes up, I'm passing that into println. If I pass in the reference, this pointer, it is capped in size. It is just going to be this hexadecimal number here is going to be the thing passed around. And then I can access the object living at this address location by referencing it. And I'll show you how to do that here. So if I say fmt.println, I can say star P. So I want to say, give me the object referenced by this pointer. So I want to reference the star operator before a pointer is a reference. Give me the reference to whatever is being pointed at here. Now when I run this, you'll see I can get the value back out of here. Okay? Now, I can do all kinds of fun math here on the pointer itself. I can store the value at star P. I can replace that value with grabbing whatever's at star P and dividing it by 2. And then I will be able to say format.println, and I can get the reference to whatever is stored inside of there again. And now you can see that I have 21 stored there. Okay. Now this is important because what this means is that I can pass this into functions, and instead of having to return an object back out of the function that is my modified object, I can pass it a pointer to the object, reference that actual object under the hood, change it, and then whenever I go to access whatever is at that pointer again, the object has been changed for me no matter where it's running in the application. So this is going to be super important when we move forward and we start working with structures, which is going to be the next lesson. Okay. Hopefully you understood this. If you had any problems understanding what a pointer actually is, that it's a memory address location, and that we can reference the object that's inside of that pointer, that we can go to that piece of memory and actually modify it without having to pass that large piece of data around itself. That's what we're going to be using pointers for moving forward. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Let me know, and I can try to create a much bigger lesson on pointers and do a lot more demonstration of what we're going to do with them. But if you follow along in this tutorial series, you're going to see them used more and more as we get closer to the end of the crash course. With that, I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thanks so much.